Hey freedom lovers, this is Dr. Peterson Pierre with America's Frontline Doctors bringing you today's Daily Dose. So aside from pushing people to eat bugs and insects as a viable alternative source of protein, there's a second simultaneous push to get people to eat lab-grown meat. Since the world is ending due to climate change, oh no, and agriculture contributes to that, we can do away with farms and ranches and focus on fake meat. Unbeknownst to most of you, cultivated meat has already gotten the stamp of approval from the US government. Surprise, surprise. Quote, Upside Foods and Good Meat, two companies that make what they call cultivated chicken, said that they have gotten approval from the USDA to start producing their cell-based proteins. Cultivated or lab-grown meat is grown in a giant vat, much like what you'd find in a beer brewery. This move follows a series of previous approvals, which have paved the way for sales of cultivated meat in the US. A few weeks ago, Good Meat and Upside said they had received approvals for labels for much of its products from the USDA. In March, Good Meat said it had received a so-called no questions letter from the FDA. That letter states that the administration is satisfied with the product is safe and effective to sell in the US. The FDA issued a similar letter to Upside Foods in November, end quote. To put this into perspective, normally, Europe is usually 1 to 5 years ahead of the US on issues such as these. But when it comes to synthetic meat, the EU has not given the green light, and it doesn't even appear to be on the horizon, because doing so would require a full review by the European Food Safety Authority, which is what our FDA is supposed to be, but we know they don't really take care of us. That full review can take up to 2 years. In fact, there are individual European nations that are banning synthetic meat. In November of last year, Italy became the first EU country to ban the sale and import of cultivated meat. There are about a dozen other countries looking to follow suit, whereas the US became the third country in the world to allow fake meat. They're moving in the opposite direction, right behind Singapore and Israel. However, individual states are starting to push back. Leading the charge is Florida. Yes, there are just a lot of things that I love about Florida, and this is one of them, which bans and even criminalizes the sale and manufacture of lab-grown meat. Here's what Governor DeSantis had to say, quote, Florida is fighting back against the global elite's plan to force the world to eat meat grown in a petri dish or bugs to achieve their authoritarian goals. We will save our beef, end quote. Several other states are in different stages of passing similar laws banning fake meat. Alabama House approved a bill making the sale and manufacture of fake meat a felony. Arizona is soon to follow suit. Other states considering similar legislation include Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Maine, Mississippi, Montana, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Wyoming, Kansas, Louisiana, Georgia, as well as Texas. And no, just in case you're wondering, no, California and New York, not on that list. I'm glad we're starting to fight back. Ladies and gentlemen, only the truth will set you free. Stay tuned for the next Daily Dose.